Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giri Varadhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Guru Deva Jaya Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Jaya Guru Deva Srila Prabhupada ki jai Kan Govinda ki jai Samveda Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai Gaur Brahmanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to internet devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Tempa devotees. Hare Krishna. Sisi Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So, our devotees have joined. So, I just want to take a minute to do the introduction. So, some of you already know His Grace Prana Govinda Prabhu. But for our purification, I'll do a quick introduction again. So Prabhuji is a very, very senior, disciple in our Gaudiya Vaishnava Parampara and has been serving Srila Prabhupada's mission for many, many decades. And presently in Alachua community, Prabhuji is doing extraordinary services. And some of you may know that Prabhuji is on the sannyas waiting list. So what that means is that in ISKCON there is about some years of period that a sincere devotee has to wait for until they get sannyas approved by the other senior members of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. And it is not the general path that every grihastha or every vanprastha or every brahmachari goes through. It is only a very, very selected rare souls who want to completely dedicate themselves in the mission of Lord Chaitanya, in the mission of Srila Prabhupada, go through that path or take that serious journey. And Prabhuji is one of those great souls. So we are very, very blessed and grateful that Prabhuji took out his time to enlighten us, to help us, to guide us on this wonderful topic, to help us improve our faith in Krishna consciousness. So I request everyone to please turn on your microphones to welcome Prabhuji, and preferably video also, so we can chant 3 times loudly to welcome His Grace Prana Govinda Prabhu by loudly chanting Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Over to you.
Hare Krishna. Well, first of all, I'm very grateful to be here with you all. And I thank all of you, headed by Subhavilas Prabhu, for engaging me to serve you today. That's a wonderful opportunity. Even though I'm not qualified, I'm trying to become an aspired servant of senior, sincere devotees like you all, but still, to purify my own heart, I would like to serve. So please bless me and pray for me also. And today's subject matter, when Subhavilas Prabhu asked me other day, and I was reading Chaitanya Charitamrita with one Sannyasi Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He's the GVC and Guru of ISKCON. And the importance of faith. So I was compiling together that why do we need faith? Well, first of all, Prabhupada writes that by quoting Madhacharya in Bhagavatam, Jiva Sukhanisi, we are pleasure seeking by nature. We are always looking for more and more happiness. What we have, we want to save it and we want to increase it. It is a natural tendency for all the soul, at least for human being, they can assess and see it is correct. And complete happiness will arise when we are connected with Krishna through bhakti. And in order to do bhakti, to serve Krishna or to attract Krishna, most important ingredients, only one, not 2 or 3. And today's chapter, if you look at it, Madhya Lila chapter 22, text 64, it says whether you are new bhakta or a pure devotee, only difference is one. Your gradation of faith, Shraddha. Shraddha is not exactly faith, neither belief or trust, it's all combination of. Shraddha, that's a Sanskrit word, is very powerful. And just in the beginning, I wanted to say that Srila Prabhupada in Nectar Devotion very nicely explained that the basic principle of the living condition is that we have general propensity to love someone. Right at this moment, I'm asking you, the audience, can you live without loving someone? Be honest. And Srila Prabhupada writes, no one, none can live without loving someone. And if you don't find somebody to love, then you love dog and cats. Or you love your country or somebody, something you have to love. You cannot live without it. Then Prabhupada gives a logic. He says, in the primary stage, a child loves his parents. I saw when the child is born, he loves his mommy's breast milk. That's it. The whole world is in the breast milk. And when the child grows big, he comes to know about his brother, sister, or he lives in a house, he has a neighbor. And as he grows, he starts loving his brother, sister, parents. Then he loves his family. Then he loves his society, community, country, nations, or even whole human society. Big leaders, they express their feeling for the whole human society. But Prabhupada put a very nice logic. He said, but the loving propensity is not satisfied even by loving all human society. Why? That loving propensity remains imperfectly fulfilled until we know who the Supreme Beloved is. This is the key point Prabhupada made. And you can analytically study Alexander the Great, Hitler, any name you call anywhere, or even Mr. Trump, the local current president, anybody. Because love can become all-embracing only when we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Beloved. He is the root of all creation. By embracing him, one successfully embraces everyone, as pouring water to the root of a tree successfully nourishes every leaf and branch of the tree. So by developing Shraddha, I'm not going to translate that word Shraddha into, because I was researching last 1 week whether it's a faith or belief or trust, or is a combination of all together. Even combination together is not enough. Need more words. And more we are connected to Krishna and embrace him through Shraddha and please him, try to love him, eternally we will be forever happy and drown into the ocean of bliss and live with him eternally forever. So today's verse is Madhya Lila chapter 22, text 64. And then we'll come back to the 62. So before that, we chant 3 times. Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Daita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Shraddhavan Janahai Bhakti Adhikari Uttam Maddam Kanishta Shraddha Anusari. A faithful devotee is a truly eligible candidate for the loving service of the Lord. According to one's faith, Prabhupada here translates Shraddha as a faith. According to one's faith, one is classified as a topmost devotee, an intermediate devotee, or an inferior devotee. That's it, just one ingredient. One standard of measure is just one element, the faith. Faith makes one neophyte devotee, one intermediate or madhyamadhikari, or a first class, topmost devotee. It's all has a one ingredient. Question is proportion of his maturity or perfection. Purport. The word Shraddhavan, faithful, means understanding. Now, I'm going to stop here just to ask you, do you know what is understanding? It seems like I thought I knew for 40 years what understanding is. But then I looked at it, one lecture Prabhupada said, understanding means stand under. Stand under means you have to have a guru or some spiritual well-wisher who cares for you and who under whose guidance you serve. If you don't have that, you cannot say you understand. That's a one meaning. Another meaning I found is a simple English understanding. It says understanding means you examine and comprehend. That's called understanding. The way Prabhupada explains is very far out. So here he says the word Shraddhavan, faithful, means understanding Krishna to be the Samam Banam. Understanding Krishna to be the Samam Banam, the eternal truth and absolute transcendence. If one has full faith in Krishna and confidence in him, one becomes eligible to discharge devotional service confidentially. According to one's faith, one is topmost, intermediate, and inferior devotees or neophyte. Then I'm going to do 62, and then we're going to discuss this. So what is that Shraddha? One definition is given on text 62. If you go, there are many definitions in that chapter. But one definition that Prabhupada emphasized a lot is called this 62 verse. Let me get on my. Okay. Shraddha sabde vishwas kahe sudhira nischayam Krishna bhakti kaile sarva karma krita hayam. Shraddha sabde vishwas kahe sudhira nischaya Krishna bhakti kaile sarva karma krita hayam. Translation: Shraddha. Now let's see the word-to-word meaning. Shraddha sabde, by the word Shraddha. Okay, Prabhupada did not translate it. He kept the word Shraddha as Shraddha. Vishwas, here Prabhupada put Vishwas as faith. Other verses that we read, here put Shraddha as a faith, now Vishwas as a faith. Vishwas, or belief. We generally in school, I learned that Vishwas means belief or trust. Kohe is said, Shrudhira, firm, Nishchay, certain, Krishna, unto Lord Krishna, Bhakti, devotional service, Koile, by executing, Sarva Karma, all activities, Krita, completed, Haya, are. Shraddha is a confident, firm faith that by rendering transcendental loving service to Krishna, one automatically performs all subsidiary activities. Such faith is favorable to the discharge of devotional service. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Firm faith and confidence are called Shraddha. Now Prabhupada here is very interesting. He says Shraddha means firm faith and confidence. Together are called Shraddha. When one engages in the Lord's devotional service, he is to be understood to have performed all his responsibilities in the material world. He has satisfied his forefather, ordinary living entities, and demigods, and is free from all responsibility. I'm going to stop here for 1 second. So Prabhupada writes here, he has satisfied his forefather, ordinary living entity, and demigods, and is free from all responsibility. That's a big, means you don't have a debt. There's a famous verse in 11th canto, Lord Krishna explained, Devorshi bhutapta ninam pittinam na kinkaran ayamine charajan sarvatmanaja saranam saranyam gato mukundar parihatu kartum. So here, in that verse, explained that what Prabhupada put it in one sentence, that you are free from responsibility. So those devotees that we are trying to understand this sentence. When you are born from a particular dynasty or particular family, you're supposed to have a child born from you so that the child can do some rituals for their future sustenance in a peaceful environment, wherever they are, in whatever body or form shape they are. But when you are a devotee, that responsibility automatically done. You don't have to do anything. Then Prabhupada writes, such person doesn't need to meet the responsibility separately, like ordinary living entity. So forefather responsibility by producing children, especially son, putra. And then other living entity means when you take prasadam and you are already benefiting many people. Like say for an example, you bought some rice from a store. The person who sow in the field, person who plow the field, cut the crop, put it in a machine, made a husk came out, and then the rice came out separately, and then another person put it, stitched it in a bag, and then somebody carried it to a big warehouse. From there it shifted to India, or I mean America, and then it went to some store. Then there is a owner who owns the store, has a cash register, and then all those people from the person who sowed the seed all got benefited of spiritual eternal activities, pious credit, when you offer that rice to Krishna. So your responsibility is gone. Not only gone, you actually benefiting them, eternal sukriti, called bhakti unmukhi sukriti. Then Prabhupada writes, demigods, you have a responsibility on the demigods. You're breathing air, you're not paying tax or fees. You're getting sunlight, all the flavor coming from the moon, you owe to the moon, the calendars, you know, we know what day it is, all because of the moon and sun. There is so much debts to the air god, breathing, to have even good health, Ashwini Kumar, so many, 14 demigods minimum. There is a 33 are the principal, but 14 are with this body right now with you. So when you honor prasadam, you wash your hand where the germs or some water, some virus, bacteria going to eat these remnants. Even you cut the vegetable and throw the things out, some animal eats. Whatever situation, everything the devotee does, their responsibility to those demigods, when you offer the food to the Lord, that's automatically shoot back to them, because they are the one who is giving flavor, they are the one allowing to live, to go on like this. So you don't have a separate responsibility. Let's see. It is automatically done. Fruitive activities is meant to satisfy the senses of the conditioned soul. However, when one awakens to Krishna consciousness, he does not have to work separately for pious activity. Very sweet, the way Prabhupada writes. However, when one awakens to Krishna consciousness means that we are eager to hear Krishna. So today we gather here, we have an interest to hear about Krishna. That is called awaken. And those are awakened hearing about Krishna. Sorry. Then when you are acting as a devotee, like here in Krishna Katha, that time you don't have any separate activities required, even for good reason. Like for a Rahu, you need a Rahu Puja. I know some devotee did that. You don't need, nothing you need. Lord Shiva in 4th canto says that actually all the demigods are ready to help you when you are serving Krishna. Then Prabhupada writes, The best achievement of all fruitive activities is detachment from the material life. Detachment from the material life means you do everything for Krishna. You go to work for Krishna. You take care of your family for Krishna. You eat to maintain this body for Krishna's service. Everything you do. This is how the mentality we all have, and I'm sure. And thus, detachment is spontaneously enjoyed by the devotee firmly engaged in the Lord's service. Very nice. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So let's see. Question in the beginning raised that what was that? If you understand Krishna. So we discuss about understanding Krishna, but I'm going to ask you, how do you understand Krishna? And then we'll go to. There was a beautiful pastime took place in Bombay. I'm going to narrate this story. So before that, I would invoke the mercy of all my spiritual well-wisher, Guru Parampara. Please join together. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Jutapada Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanam Sadaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishaka Nitanscha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Timate Bhakti Vedanta Samini Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschata Desha Tarine Pancha Kalpa Taruvesha Kripa Sindhubaye Bacham Patitanam Pavunibho Vaishnavibho Namo Namo Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktabinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. So how do we accept Krishna as he is? It's easy to say, but sometimes it is better to have some discussion, because Srila Prabhupada asked that question. How do you accept Krishna? How do you understand Krishna? In Bombay, inauguration, groundbreaking ceremony. You know, before you build a temple, you have a groundbreaking ceremony. So Srila Prabhupada did it himself. He brought the temple pujari, and with the Anantas Ash and groundbreaking ceremony. It was very nice. And then Prabhupada gave a class. In the class, Mahamsa Maharaj, he remembers this. Mahamsa Swami, he was a Persian Indian. He was a sannyasi before, and he's still alive, presence in this world. So he narrated this story very nicely. That Prabhupada asked, how do you know that Krishna is Supreme Lord?
So some devotee says, well, Prabhupada, you are saying Krishna is Supreme Lord, so we accept that. Is that enough or not? Prabhupada said, no, not enough. Because you may have your guru, and your guru may say, well, Mr. So-and-so is Supreme God. Now what are you going to say? Well, my guru said that. So guru's word is enough, but not enough, same time, according to Prabhupada. So then one devotee says, we have to see if all the acharya accepted. Prabhupada said, that's very good. If Guru said that Krishna is Supreme God, if all the acharya has accepted also, then it is good. Because in Shastra it says, acharya mam bijanyam, you should go to acharya and you should go to Guru and learn. So if all the acharya has accepted, then it's good. And Srila Prabhupada is so wonderful. He said even Mayavadi Acharya, Shankaracharya, he says Narayana Parabhakta. That Narayan is Supreme Personality of Godhead beyond this material nature. Even Mayavadi Acharya also accepts. Even we see the historian Max Muller, he also accepted. He's a famous historian even in America. And he accepted Krishna as a Supreme Personality of Godhead. And all the big Acharya who? The Brahmaji, first Acharya in the creation began. Brahmaji says, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. And Bhrigu also, amongst all the sages, all the Karma Kandis, Bhrigu also proved it, that Krishna is the origin. Lord Shiva says, Mukti Pradata Sarvesham Krishna Revana Samsaya. He also established Krishna is the only person who can give. There's a famous verses also, Lord Shiva proved it, that Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasra Nama Bastubham Tullam Ramo Nama Baranane Sahasranam Nam Punnanam Tri Abrita tu Jat Phalam Eka Abrita tu Krishnasya Namakam Ja Prajachati. When a Shiva Bhakta asked me a question, Shiva Puran says Shiva. I said, but Shiva himself said there that Eka Abrita tu Krishnasya. This is spoken by Krishna, Shiva. That Krishna's name is so powerful, is supreme of all other name of his own incarnation. What to talk about my name? So it was very nice, and that's why he chants. Then Durga Devi also says, Maya Devi herself, that Krishna's name is more powerful than her husband, Lord Shiva's name. Where? In Antolila, 3rd chapter, 257, there's a famous verse about Haridas Thakur's pastime. That Mayadasi prema bhage ite ki vishmoy sadhu kripa nam bina premona janmay. If you take other name, Ram name, Lord Shiva's chanting process, you will only cross the Maya. You will not get Krishna prem. This is Maya Devi herself. Generally, we don't take advice from Maya Devi, but this is a good advice from Maya Devi. Maya Devi says, only by chanting Krishna's name, you will get Krishna prem. Just by chanting Ram name, you will not get love of Godhead. It was very nice. Even recently, I found Chaitanya Charan Prabhu put in one quote that Albert Einstein, he says, when I read Bhagavad Gita and reflect about how Krishna, the God, created this universe, everything else seems superfluous. That's very nice. So everybody accepted Krishna's position. So that's good. Prabhupada did not say, yes, that's enough. Then the devotees are like thinking like, what else Prabhupada wants? They said, did Shastra approves this? Acharyas are saying, your gurus are saying, Shastra approves. Yes. Bhagavatam, Paribhashya Sutra, one verse. Ete changsha kalapungsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. So this is a wonderful that Bhagavatam highlighted by one verse where Krishna's position. Then question is, did any other God Christianity, Muslim, or any religion, that Muhammad did not say he is God. He says he's a Messiah and Allah is God, but he did not say the form and the nature of the Allah. Jesus never said he is God. Who said he is God? Only Krishna. He says, Aham sarvasya prabho matta sarvam pravartate. Matta paratarananna. Aham sarva jagyanam. Aham evasam evagre. All these verses, he claimed that he is the supreme. This is very nice. And then Prabhupada says something more. Then devotees are like thinking, what more can it be there? The scriptures agrees, acharyas are saying, Guru said, all the authorities are saying, what more needed? But Prabhupada wanted more. Did Krishna prove that he is the origin supreme? Yes. This verse that Parashar in Vishnu Puran gave, Aishwarjasya samagrasya birjasya jasasya sriya Jnana vairagya chaiva sannam bhaga itingana. And if you look at Krishna's pastime, all these 6 qualities he has exhibited. You cannot say any other incarnation exhibited like this. So when Prabhupada gives that word simply, understand Krishna means this all together. Prabhupada did not stop, he said more. And Krishna proved he is the Brahman, he is the Paramatma, he is the Bhagavan. And you can see in Bhagavatam so many pastimes. Jiva Goswami Pad says, Bhagavan means a particular characteristics, a quality, divine quality that Krishna has to have. And he quoted this simple verse. I request everybody, the few verses that Jiva Goswami Pad gives, it's so soothing, you will delight in it. He says, Bhajaniya Sarvada Sad Guna Vishishta. Krishna's nature is such that his characteristics are so attractive, so enchanting, so incredibly inspiring that whoever comes, whether it's a temple devotees or no qualification anywhere or a deep dark hellish planet person, if he ever comes to know this, Krishna's character and quality, they will not resist but worship him and love him. This is him. All the siddhis, the 8 mystic power, Krishna exhibited in Vrindavan. In Ras Leela, he expanded into billions. He became heavier than Trinavarta. He lifted Govardhan like a light, nothing on his pinky. All these 8 mystic siddhi, that when he opened the mouth, the entire creation was in his mouth, Mother Jashoda saw. Then Brajavashi saw in Akrura Ghat how he is Brahman, he is Paramatma, he is also Narayan, and he is the origin Krishna in Vrindavan. So Ishita, Bashita, Prakammita, Kamabha, Shahita, all these 8, Anima, Lagima, Mahima, all exhibited in Vrindavan. It's not like Krishna we just accept because Shastra said or Prabhupada said. Prabhupada wanted us to understand from every angle you look at. Then that's called examining and comprehending. These two together, Prabhupada said, called understanding. It's very nice, unique way. Then everything is complete. Prabhupada says, no, one more. Devotee really felt like, oh my God, what more can be there? He exhibited all the quality of that verse. He is accepted by all the acharyas as a supreme. Our Guru Prabhupada said he is supreme. Authorities accepted, Shastra says, and Krishna himself claimed, and he proved. Then Prabhupada looked at them again and he smiled. He says, when you grow up with that perception and you accept and seeing every day Krishna's presence in your life and you accept, then he gave an example, just like you grow up with your mother and she gives you lalan, palan, poshon, darshan, she disciplines you, she nourishes you, she takes care of everything. You don't need to go to a lab to check if she has the same DNA like to be claimed as a mother. You don't need. Why? Because you felt that she has so much love for me. She has so much protection for me. She has so much affection for me. So you grow up to accept your mother as a mother for whole life. You never felt like I need to go to check whether she is definitely my mother or not. Let's have a DNA checkup. No. So similarly, Prabhupada said we have to grow up with Krishna every day. This is my request also, and I'm also trying to grow up in our life every day, whether we're eating or whatever we do. Can I grow up with Krishna every day? Then Prabhupada says Krishna will be accepted as a or understood as a supreme personality of Godhead. This is wonderful. Now we're going to go to this verse of Shraddha. Oh, Krishna. The time is clicking so fast. What is faith? So I was doing some research on the Veda ways, different acharyas, and Prabhupada spoke hundreds and thousands of times about the importance of having faith. And today, as you read, faith is the only ingredients you need from neophyte or no qualification to become an advanced lover or advanced pure devotee. Is the one ingredient is the faith, Shraddha. Why? Because Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, faith is the only instrument for the finite or the conditions, soul, to measure the infinite. Because we have a question within us, does Krishna loves me? How much Krishna will do for me? How much I should do for Krishna? This calculation will be there. Oh, I'm in trouble, I have no money, or I'm in accident or something. Will Krishna protect me? This calculation will be there. You cannot escape from it. So Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, faith is the only instrument for the finite or infinitesimal, you or me, to measure the infinite Krishna. Srila Prabhupada, one lecture, he says, this movement, this Krishna consciousness movement, ISKCON, started from faith. I was really happy just to read that. Foundation of our movement is Srila Prabhupada's faith. He himself said that. In Bhagavad Gita 2.41, asked us to be faithful to the spiritual master. Whatever he says, I take it as my life and soul, Prabhupada said. Not so interested in my own salvation, but interested in the words of my Guru. Whether I will be successful or not, I will have faith in the words of my Guru. Then again, Prabhupada writes in 4th chapter, 34 verse, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprasnana sevaya, where he says, blind faith is condemned. Now, faith is a question. We need faith. But then Prabhupada put in that purport, he said, blind faith is condemned. That means we have to scrutinize. Is it proper faith or is it blind faith? Oh, I believe everything. No, that is, what do you believe? You cannot explain. Then could be a blind faith. It is not what we believe. Its question is what we believe, what is the source of that belief? If you believe 2 + 2 = 5, will it ever be 5? So belief is not, the question is the source. Where is the source of my belief? It's very interesting. Prabhupada says in that line, blind faith is condemned. Not only should we hear submissively, one needs a clear understanding in inquiry and submissive. When the student is ready to be submissive, the disciple can receive knowledge from Sri Guru to the faith. Very nice. One, Baladev Vidausan Thakur also one time mentioned, he says, in Oishwarja Kadamba, he says, faith has a possibility, Shraddha, to make impossible possible. Faith is the only instrument for the finite or infinitesimal living entity to measure the infinite, to survey the infinite. All the methods are futile. Faith is the most spacious substance within us. It can reach the unreachable. In the infinite, what faith can we have in faith? We have genuine fear of blind faith, and we should. Yet, in the infinite, the impossible becomes possible. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, 1898, he wrote, and he was showing his court colleagues in the court. You know, he was one of the judge, and he had a few other colleagues, and he shown that there will be a day. In 1898, India was under British, and they are not interested into Vedic culture. They are interested of ruling the world, ruling the country. Rather, they were interested of influencing with Christianity. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote, he said, there will be a day, the American, British, they will come and join with Indians and chant Jai Sachinandan in Mayapur. So one of the judges saw it. He said, you must be kidding. You probably fantasizing about your culture. This is impossible. Yes, it was impossible in the mind of that educated, so-called educated man. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur had a determination and he saw it. It is not like he's predicting like from whimsically. You know, year before Gaur Purnima, they had over 100 countries, devotees together chanted. They literally like asked, one is from Ghana, one is from South Africa, one is from here, they are everywhere. And it was very interesting, fascinating that how Bhaktivinoda Thakur could see that 1898 and today it's happening because he was connected with Krishna and he had a strong faith in it. That's why he was not buzzed. Oh, this educated British person did not agree with me, so maybe it is not proper. No, no, no. He was not connecting with the conditioned soul. He was connecting with Krishna's view and he saw what is going to happen. And there's one more prediction is coming also, and we are all hoping to see it, hopefully within our lifetime. So Mahaprabhu has distributed what he experienced in his deep trance, but we must be ready to pay for it. And Srila Prabhupada came for that purpose. But we have to have a strong spiritual faith so we can go step by step. Now question comes, what is the origin of faith? Is it something new for the conditioned soul, or is it something in our original existence, eternal existence, it is there? Well, there is a verse in 11th canto, Bhagavatam, 25th chapter, 27. Lord Krishna says, actually original faith or Shraddha is there in the soul from the since, Of course, the soul is never created, but we still have to say it. The moment soul were created, that the structure of the soul has a Shraddha, as an eternal component of, not component, eternal self. The soul and the Shraddha are one. Sattiki adhyatmiki Shraddha karma Shraddha surajasa tamasi adharmeja Shraddha mat Sevaya tu nirguna. Krishna quoted this verse. He says there are 4 types of faith. But original faith is the soul himself has a quality called faith. Faith is not something new, but in the conditional state, conditional life, when we come in contact with the material nature, then 3 types of faith develop. Original faith is covered with these 3 types of faith influenced by the modes of material nature. This is Krishna's point. Then question comes, why have faith? Srila Prabhupada put in Bhagavatam 2.6.34. I'm going to read it. O Narada, because I have caught hold of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari, with great zeal, whatever I say has never proved to have been false, nor is the progress of my mind ever deterred, nor are my senses ever degraded to temporary attachment to matter. So Srila Prabhupada once said, if you get up morning, please listen this. If you get up in the morning, chant 16 rounds, after 12 years, whatever you say will be true also. Like a little far out. Whatever you plan to do for Krishna will happen. But you have to do it 12 years. Not like 2 years and then take a break and then again. No, it's like a straight 12 years without stopping. So I was anyway, Mother Narayani was mentioning that. So it's very interesting. Now, is this Shraddha, faith, eternal principle? It's a question. So I found one conversation Prabhupada had with different devotees. Joshamati Nandan recently passed away. He was there. But it's in the database, you can look. Umapati Maharaj asked, I was reading the writings of Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Jaiva Dharma. Prabhupada said, yes. No, Prabhupada said, huh? You don't say yes. Huh is like, kind of a yes, but it's like saying. Umapati. And he is explaining the word Shraddha. And he defines it in there as the tendency of the mind towards devotion without regards of jnana or karma. And Prabhupada again, huh? Then Jashamati Nandan, Shraddha. Umapati, Shraddha. And I have heard it variously interpreted as meaning faith or belief, which really falls short of that interpretation. Prabhupada, what is that interpretation? And Umapati, could you elaborate on the definition of Shraddha? Srila Prabhupada, Shraddha is explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Shraddha means firm conviction. That is Shraddha. Just like Krishna says, I am the supermost. So if you have firm conviction in Krishna's word, that is Shraddha. Umapati, yes. Prabhupada, if you have doubt, then it is not Shraddha. It's very interesting. Means if you have a doubt, you are accepting and not accepting both, then it is not Shraddha. Prabhupada, no, that Shraddha has to be increased. Umapati, how is it increased? Prabhupada, the beginning of Shraddha means firm conviction. Umapati, how is it Shraddha? does not exist in one person eternally. Now Prabhupada says, Shraddha is there. See, Prabhupada is confirming. Shraddha is there. It has to be awakened. Interesting. Then Mahaprabhu says, Shraddha is in every person. Then Prabhupada said, yes. Therefore I say it is covered. It is covered. That covering has to be taken away. That is called bhajaniya. A bhajan means you have to culture. That is culture. So then I was looking at Jiva Goswami Pad's definition of his guru, Rupa Goswami Pad's sloka, that Shraddha, there is a few verses given, Shraddha to annopaya varjanam chitta vritti vishesh. Bhaktivinoda Thakur also put it. But Jiva Goswami Pad gives a very nice explanation. He said, Shraddha is like a lens. You know, you have eyeglasses, like Subha Vilas Prabhu has a glasses to read or see. Now, without glasses, when I look at the deity sometime, because I have my glasses is very strange. When I look at the deity from far, without the glasses, looks like a hazy. I have some idea there is a deity, but I cannot see the eye or very specific. When I put on the glasses, and then I can see the Krishna's eye, the eyebrow, everything. So similarly, Jiva Goswami Pad says faith or Shraddha is like a lens, keeps you channel your energy one way to Krishna. Very nice. And he calls Shastriya Shraddha, that Bhava Pavarga Vartmanam, we develop intelligent buddhi, will be directed towards Krishna. So now you see, Shraddha actually develops buddhi to guide yourself from within. Like Prabhupada says, so many negativity came in his life, but he did not allow. Even negativity came from his god brother, from different people, how not to make this Krishna consciousness successful. But Prabhupada said, I did not follow. I just went straight. One time devotee asked, how did you stay straight? He said, my intelligence, I was fixed. Jiva Goswami Pad says, Shraddha produce your diligent. That produce you intelligent to focus on bhakti and go on with strong conviction in bhakti. So bhakti, this intelligence also comes to do bhajan from Shraddha. There is a one little pastime I remember Giriraj Maharaj mentioned once when he met Srila Prabhupada. And Giriraj Maharaj mentioned that he had a poster, you can become God. So in his bathroom, he would put that poster and he would brush his teeth and say, I can become God. And he would tell himself, I can be God. It was like very funny. So then when he came to meet Prabhupada, it was very interesting that Prabhupada, it appears like he was ignoring. But after some time, Giriraj Maharaj, as a student, he was trying to see Prabhupada face to face. At one point, Prabhupada turned back. He says, you're not God. He was like so shocked. You generally don't say somebody first time you meet, a student. And because he used to think, oh, I can be God. I can be God from that poster. It was very funny that Giriraj Maharaj mentioned that Prabhupada said, Shraddha, later on in the discussion, he said, Shraddha means respect. Specific attitude we will give you. So then he asked, have you seen God? Srila Prabhupada replied, if I tell you yes, then you will believe me. Then that man says, no, I won't. Then Prabhupada said, then why do you ask? So Prabhupada gave a very nice, he said, first develop a gratitude, means believe attentively before you ask. Just like Arjuna says, Shishyaste aham sadhimam tam prapannam. So like this, Shraddha has a very beautiful explanation given by Jiva Goswami Pad in his commentary. Also Madhurya Kadambini, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives. This is such a vast subject. So Shraddha naturally develops. Shraddha also comes from the association of the devotees, mostly. Now, if you say a good question and answer, I made a lot of good question and answer, that can I get love of Godhead without Shraddha? Well, 17 chapter 28 verse Prabhupada said, Shraddha is the same element mature into love of Godhead. So if you don't have Shraddha, you cannot get love of Godhead. Sorry. It's the same thing. It's like a little baby growing as a grown-up, mother, like that. But it is the same thing. So because of the time running out, I made a lot of questions. I'll just read one question just for us and answer. When Shraddha turns to love of Godhead, Bhaktivinoda Thakur explained that when Sukriti means something related to Krishna consciousness. Whether that homeless guy brought the toilet paper while Prabhupada giving class, even the homeless guy had no understanding that what he's doing. He just saw that there is no toilet paper, and he grabbed a toilet paper from his place and he brought it in. Prabhupada said because he brought that toilet paper, even though he's a homeless hippie, he got a spiritual credit. Either he will become devotee this life or next life. He doesn't have to go to hell. He has to take birth as a human. So these are called Bhakti Unmukhi Sukriti. He's not devotee yet, but at least he got Sukriti. Anything we do in relation to Bhakti or Bhakta, then we will get Sukriti. So he says, then when Sukriti accumulates a lot of Sukriti, that it generates Shraddha. So Shraddha does not just come from nowhere. It comes from your endeavor, intention to please the devotee or please the Lord. And then Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, which is defined as faith in the practice of pure bhakti. This Shraddha then gives birth to the desire to associate with pure devotee. Without Shraddha, your interest to hear Krishna will not be there. So if you feel, all of you, if you feel, well, yeah, I like to hear about Krishna, obviously you are in the Zoom connection, that means you have Shraddha. Try to identify that. I'll end with this. That you try to see that you have a Shraddha, otherwise you would not be even interested. Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, when that association, by the association, you get more and more Shraddha, and that Shraddha becomes mature, then your bhajan will push you to become Nishta stage where you take a vow. You don't care anything else. You will never want to deviate from Krishna consciousness. You literally take vow. The moment you take that vow, there is a mystical satisfaction will come to your heart, where you will find nothing else is needed in this world. You will be still happy with your wife and husband, children, everybody. You will do, but nobody can make you more happy than mystically you will start feeling happy by that conviction. That is Ruchi began. Then you will come to a further Shraddha will grow, and you will come to a wonderful place where you will find the sense gratification is not even intelligible. It's like sense gratification is there or not there, it doesn't even, you are not even aware. It's not that you are blind. No, you will be aware, but it does not, like a 2-year-old girl, if you tell her romantic life, it does not buzz in her heart. If you tell her about Beanie Baby or whatever, Barbie doll or something, she will be fascinated. So similarly, sense gratification is there, but it won't even buzz you. You will not become like a statue. You will become merciful, affectionate, compassionate devotee. And this way you grow to a point where Shraddha will turn into attract Krishna, where Krishna will sanction you to have your own original bhava. And that through that bhava, you will leave this world, enter into another planet where Krishna is performing Leela, and you will grow up with those Brajavasis, and Krishna will accept you one day, and that will be your Vastu Siddhi, and from that point, you never come down to this material world. Congratulations of your journey. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So I'll end here. If you have any question, comments, reflection.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Such detailed description of Shraddha, and thank you so much for your association, your enlightenment. I also have a question, but I think a few other devotees also have questions, so I'll let others ask first, and if time permits, then I can ask mine. Yes, I think if you have a question, please raise your hand so we know how many questions we have, and accordingly we can go. Yes, Vipul Prabhu has raised his hand. Yes, Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanvat Pranam, all grace to Srila Prabhupada. So, Prabhuji, it looks like the Shraddha, the English term is faith, is interchangeable. Like Prabhupada in the Gita introduction telling that faith can be changed, but our internal nature or service will be lasting. But here we see Shraddha is faith that is most needed to go up to the Prema, Krishna Prema. So this was interchanged, right? In like not like a exact meaning all the time. It is meaning.
Shraddha is like a little baby. As the baby growing, changes the different feature, but it's the same element, same person, taking a different form and shape according to the growth. But when you say faith, it's a little bit limiting. But sometimes Prabhupada translates Shraddha as a faith, sometimes Prabhupada translates Shraddha as a firm conviction, sometimes Shraddha is like a belief, so many things, trust. But English word is not complete. Shraddha, Shraddha means the Chetan, consciousness. Dha means holding. What your consciousness holding? That's who you are. Like if I ask you a Muslim and Christian and Hindu and Hare Krishna, they all are American. What's the difference? Inside what they literally holding in their consciousness, their belief, their culture, their eating food, their dressing, their friendship, family, all this combination together, it's what Shraddha is. Shraddha is who you are in one sense also.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very clear.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yes, Vamsilas Prabhu, please.
Yes. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you, Prana Prabhuji. So wonderful class about Shraddha. Prabhuji, my question is, I've taken up, due to mercy of Guru and Krishna, a little bit of practice. And so I have friends from engineering and they're in WhatsApp group. I'm trying to preach to them or in a very, very high level way. And I see very resonates what you said today about how the difference is in the faith, because whatever I say, they don't believe. They try to say that, I say this is in the scriptures, this is a scriptural reference, but they say, I don't believe in your scriptures. Your scriptures might have been written by somebody just to make Brahmins rule over the Shudras, and they come up with their own theories. So my question is, Prabhuji, how can we give somebody faith?
Your question is, how can you give somebody faith? Wow, very nice question. I like that. Or in other words, how do we get faith in order to give somebody? This is a very nice question, very intelligent question. First of all, what I remember one time Prabhupada was asked that, Prabhupada, he did not claim he himself as a pure devotee, but he says, when one become realized Uttam Adhikari Bhakta, one will acquire spiritual potency to empower others. Empower others in what? To take up devotional service. If you look at Prabhupada's life, this is exactly what he did. A pure devotee can instill Shraddha, faith, in Harinam, in the conditioned soul. Then instruct them in the chanting of Hariname. Alex asked Prabhupada one time, devotee says that he is not aware of Krishna consciousness so much, but he's a kind of a gang leader of the LSD drug in Laguna Beach area. So he asked a question to Prabhupada that what is spiritual happiness? And Prabhupada, I don't know what Prabhupada thought, but I'm just assuming Prabhupada probably, because he heard this, that he doesn't know anything but LSD. So Prabhupada told him, spiritual world is like an ocean of LSD. And when he heard that, he said, really? I'm going to start chanting now. So Prabhupada said, good. So, and he became a very genuine devotee, you know, very serious devotee. Now, in Shastra, you will never find such thing, that spiritual world is an ocean of LSD. There's no such thing. And so we're not going to argue about it, but he made the point how to attract the soul. People may not be interested of philosophy, it's true, because they're so covered and we don't need to impose them. But if you can attract some way, I'm sure your friend, they love cookies. Give them cookies, that's all they're qualified for. Radhanath Maharaj told me one time that when he started going to college preaching, and it was very difficult because he stayed in New Vrindavan, he never went for preaching. So finally he was told he has to go out to do preaching in college, and he was going through. Anyway, one professor, one devotee told him, oh, there he's an atheist, he is not going to listen to you or take. But Maharaj says, excuse me, sir, my mother made so nicely these cookies. If you take one cookie, my mom will be very happy. And this professor said, really, your mom made, let me have it. And he took it. So the job is done. He got Bhakti Sukriti already. Now, if you tell him that, oh, I heard you are atheist, let's have a discussion, oh, forget it, he is not going to listen. He doesn't want to even discuss. But his consciousness will be purified. The effect of prasadam, effect of book, effect of chanting, we have to see which way you can attract them. Not everybody is receptive for everything. So we have to use like that. So Prabhupada says, as long as one remains at least Madhyamadhikari, I'm requesting Bangsi Bilas Prabhu, jump in, maybe you are already there, or jump into become Madhyamadhikari. Get initiated, seriously take the word of your Guru's instruction, listen, and act in the platform of Madhyamadhikari. Then what will happen? Your faith will become so strong. Whoever comes across will be Because Madhyamadikari means you have a 4 function. I'm sure you are aware of this. Ishare tadadineshu balisheshu dishassu prema maitri kripa apeksha jakarti samadhyama. In 11th canto, Krishna explained what is Madhyamadikari. You have to come to that platform. In our sannyas college, they said every sannyasi must be acting on a Madhyam platform. It helped us a lot actually. Not out of pride, but you have to act. You have to act, and in order to act, you have to convince yourself, yes, we are going to do it. We want to do it. And that's how Prabhupada wanted us. Prabhupada, I can show you in Nectar of Instruction, I think verse 4 or 5, at the end of the part where Prabhupada says, in our society, we want everybody to come to intermediate platform. Nobody should stay in neophyte. Prabhupada wanted us to become intermediate. So the blessing is already built in. It is not something artificial. We have to act because Prabhupada wanted. By his mercy, we can act. Now, in Bhagavatam 1.2.16, I'm paraphrasing, Prabhupada says, by serving the servant of the Lord, one gradually gets the quality of such servant. And thus one become qualified to hear the glories of God. Now, if you face a person who is not interested to hear Krishna, invite Prabhupada right now in your heart. Internally, you literally pray to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, please come and use my tongue to convince this soul to come to Krishna, his original reform. You have to invite. I cannot convince him. But by pure devotee, we can convince him. You have to learn the art how to invite him in your heart. It is not an artificial meditation. I do this all the time. I mean, not all the time, but most of the time I try. Because who am I? Is the insignificant, wretched soul. It's a fact. But we can invite Prabhupada in our heart. We can invite Radhanath Maharaj to come in our heart and speak through us. And this is possible. This is not some hallucination, some idea. This is reality. Prabhupada says in the purport of Bhagavatam, my Guru Maharaj Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur now traveling all over the world and preaching and delivering. Now tell me, where was Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur? Nobody saw him, but Prabhupada saw him. Where? In his heart. That's why he said like this. He said Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur delivering the world by traveling the world. Where Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur traveling? Through Prabhupada. So you invite your Guru, you invite Prabhupada in your heart when you talk to your friend. Don't take any credit because we do not have any credit. I don't want to say to you, maybe you are advanced, but at least I feel that way. I don't have any credit. But I do have a one inclination, interest, that I want to invite Prabhupada to sit in my heart and speak to this person. Then it's possible. Yes, definitely. Without bhakta, sangha, nobody can get bhakti. And bhakta means we are servant of another senior bhakta. So I hope that helps you.
Yes, Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Ms. Maswati Mataji, want to ask your question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Dandavad Pranam, Prabhuji. Please
Dandavad Pranam, Mata.
Accept my humble obeisances. Very nice class, Prabhuji. So my question is related to what Vamshi Vilas Prabhuji asked. For a person who doesn't know much, even for suppose if we outreach to the Western people, as well as our like Indian people who also doesn't know much about acharyas and so the scriptures is the best policy, right, Prabhuji? Like giving the Bhagavad Gita. Like as for example, I gave one person Bhagavad Gita, and he after accepting Bhagavad Gita, he told me that I know that I heard that this is we can apply Bhagavad Gita every day in our daily life. So I would like to read that. So is that a good approach, Prabhuji, or what you suggest? Like starting a book Prabhupada's book, who doesn't know anything about Krishna or very little knowledge about Krishna. We all have very little knowledge, but I'm just telling, like, how can, like, someone has a faith reading, not like they just don't believe in the scriptures, but they want to learn, like, which will be the starting material? Is that Bhagavad Gita or any other book of Prabhupada?
Sure, sure. This is wonderful. The whole, I feel what I learned from our sannyas ministry, that I felt like it is for everybody, it's not for the sannyas candidate, because a lot of things we learn is so attractive. The whole idea Prabhupada has always how to attract the soul back to Krishna. That's their home. Whether through prasadam, through reading books, through association, it depends on our view, our relationship with that person. But we should not limit ourselves there. Giving book, generally we do, and we don't have any connection anymore. If it is somebody you are close by, or working or some other meeting many times, then you have to keep the door open in a sense. If he or she is interested prasadam, you invite for prasadam. Interested of reading, as you mentioned, give them a simple book. Bhagavad Gita is good, but simple book like Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or even perfect question, perfect answer. It's hilarious sometimes, those question answers. You know, people can relate. Even Ishopanishad, it depends on the person, you know. But on the road, we don't know, so we give any books. Anything will help. But if you want to cultivate, ultimate goal is not just to give the book. Next time you invite that person in the Zoom. Next time you invite that person to have a little prasadam. Say, I'm cooking extra. Tomorrow I'm going to meet you. Would you like me to share some food I'm making? Like this, you try to raise their soul, come to a point where easily adopt Krishna consciousness. And then you help further. Introduce to some spiritual leaders. See how they will give them influence through spiritual life. Then he or she can listen the classes of Maharaj or senior devotees. And if there's a festival, you invite. It's little out of your way, but I tell you a secret. Nityananda Prabhu, I mentioned this many times. Nityananda Prabhu says, Dostori loiva ami punna hobe kam. I don't know if you understand Dostori in Indian language. Dostori means, here you call, what do you call?
Granted, Prabhuji.
When you legally transfer your right, what do you call? Notary service.
Okay.
The notary, Nityananda Prabhu says, every time you try to bring a soul back to Krishna, I will be the notarized person that you did it. At the moment of death, there is Baswati Mataji left this world 2000 what, 98 or something like that. Oh, I'm sorry, I hope I didn't minimize your lifespan. 2098, whatever the year comes, and then you'll see Nityananda Prabhu is standing there with the notary book. Yeah, she did this, she did this, she did this, she did this, all the credit. And you might regret, oh, I wish I could do little more, then I'll have more credit at that time. So these are inspiration. Yes, everything is counted, everything you do in Krishna consciousness. The whole idea is that you have to have an intention to bring that soul. How we can bring that soul. You know, this brought another point, that how this Krishna consciousness Mahaprabhu established. He did not establish through the book or prasadam only. He established mostly by the behavior and association of those devotees. How we behave, how our association in this world that affects others. I cannot, or I don't want to, I did a lot of horrible things in life, but I have to be very careful that nobody should get any bad effect due to my presence in their life. Or even a moment association. If they have a bad impact, it will be horrible things. If they remember even for a moment, like Jayananda Prabhu, when he passed away, all these karmis, their beef eater and all these shop owners, they had tears. They used to call Jai because he was a happy, jolly, he used to give halwa. That's all, halwa, prasadam. But it affected so much that they had tears. When Prabhupada heard it, Prabhupada said they all will become devotee because of Jayananda. So our association, like Bangsi Vilas Prabhu, he's trying to give. His association will deliver them. Not necessarily they may take it. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, I don't want Bangsi Vilas Prabhu to think anything wrong. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur expressed this when he was about to leave. He said, my speech was very heavy because I was trying to point their fault, many people's fault in their advancing, and or even Mayavadi and others, because he was a Singha Guru, he was very heavy. He says, nonetheless, one day they will realize it was only for their good I did this. And they will try to come back. So try to accept them. It was so nice. Not necessarily you will be successful. Our goal is not to be successful or not successful. You remember we discussed one time, I think in this class, that Jatayu's leaving this world. You remember Prabhupada said, Jatayu, materially he is not successful. He could not defeat Ravana. But was he successful? Prabhupada said, yes, 100% successful. Because he met Lord Ram. Ram was happy. So our success should not be like whether somebody become devotee or not. We try our best, that's all. As long as our intention is there to give them Krishna consciousness, some connection, that's all Krishna counts. Whether they join this year, this life or next life, doesn't matter. It's all credited. Sorry, it's a long answer for a little beautiful question.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Kant Prabhu, please.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Pranam.
Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I had this question like every time. We are a neophyte, Prabhuji, but I feel my faith keeps fluctuating. It keeps going up and down. And it's not that I don't believe, I believe, but when I have I'm so much attached to my daughters, but if they are like sick, immediately my faith falls down. I do not have the eagerness to wake up early, chant. I do it, but that zeal, I have to put so much of effort. I've always tried to observe that, and I talked to Shubhilash Prabhuji. He keeps motivating me so much, but I have seen that, Prabhuji, my faith keeps going up and down, and I don't know what to do. My husband is very strong-willed, but I keep falling down. So that I keep myself, Prabhuji.
Mataji, it's a beautiful question. Actually, it's not you. It's like I was there one day, I mean, sometime back I was like that too. So interesting point that in order for you to ask this question, you said you fail or fall back. It's very difficult to keep motivated. In order to ask that question means you are awakened. If you would not be motivated to chant or do bhakti, you would not even ask this question. You would not be interested, I tell you right now. I'm not trying to just inspire you, but it's a fact, reality, that if you are not interested in spiritual life, you would not even come to the Zoom and ask this question. Means it's already explained when that question was asked, what is the difference between devil and the saint in Bible? And Jesus answered, the both can fall, but one get up and keep going. Again fall, again get up and keep going. He's a saint. So you are a saint. Those who stay fallen, they are has a effect of devil. So you are saint. Don't feel bad. Keep going. And you have a beautiful association of so many well-wishers, Subha Vilas Prabhu and others. And they will one day you will come back and say, yeah, I was there. Now I'm no more there by devotee's mercy, Krishna's mercy. And you will see it's a wonderful journey. It is not that you try to fall. It is just that we carry so many lives, so many unwanted things. They're trying to pull back us, pull back us, pull back us. There was a time that 20 years back, I had a business, and if I did not sleep, I'm not ashamed to tell you, I would sleep every day 6-7 hours, but Sunday I would sleep sometime 8 to 10 hours. And nobody's supposed to know, only I did, because I was so tired, exhausted. And nowadays I see that even if I sleep more than 5-6 hours, I generally sleep 4 or 5, but I feel like it's like simply wasting, and I don't enjoy sleeping. But there was a day I used to enjoy sleeping. So I look at back, I say, how this happened? Why it is like this? Because I had so many things I was caring for, so many life, from so many life. I had to let it go slowly, slowly, by the mercy of Guru Krishna and chanting. So one day you will come out. You are already in a properly situated. Please keep on going. Nothing is wrong. It's all good. This is how the path of devotion is.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Motherji, if this gives you any hope, when I was in my college, I used to tell my mother that these people, I was in my first year, 17 years old probably, that these people don't do much. They don't go to any like sports or thing. They don't go to any movies. They don't go to any beaches and go. I was in Goa, you know, it's like Miami in Florida and US. Not known for everything else but studies. But I was in a good college somehow. And parents were skeptical whether he's going to go for studies or to do something else. And different people had different thoughts what he'll do, you know, after going there. And I was also, you know, in my own world. So, and I met devotees by the mercy of Kṛṣṇa, and he was inquisitive and used to ask them like, what you do in your spare time, and they were not wasting their time in futile things. And then I said to my mother, you know, like, I like these people, but, you know, this is too much. I don't think I can ever do what they're doing and chanting and 16 rounds and this and that. And I said, you know, I'll just go and take prasad and just come back. So that's what I was doing for a lot of time. But somehow Krishna, so as Prabhuji said, that we keep trying, and one day it will happen. So you're doing nicely, Mataji. Please just continue. Keep trying, and as Prabhuji gave so much nice blessing that you are in the state of awakening, you are in the awakened state, and that's why you're asking such questions. So Krishna will certainly take care. Thank you. So I think Prabir Prabhu wants to say something. Prabir Prabhu, you wanted to say something or add something, or you just joined?
Yeah, I have one question. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Dr. Prabir Banik. Dr. Prabir Prabhu is very merciful to me.
Oh, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhu, my question is kind of like when people Prabhu ask that question came, I have some Muslim friend, and the question came religion, what religion means, and what faith means, because their answer was like the Muslim, their Islam religion. or Christian is religion. So I was telling them that no, religion is what is the eternal position or our constitutional position, relationship with the God. That is our religion. And I was telling them that the like water anywhere, water you put, you compress the water into gas, or if you make it ice, it's going to be liquid. So, or like fire is going to burn. That is the religion. We are saying that is the faith. What is the in that case? What we understand that Shraddha also proves like conviction, but then what is the difference between the faith, belief? Because I was trying to tell them that it could be your belief that the way you worship God, that is one of the way to reach the goal. Can you please explain? I know that it's very long. This could be, but can you please quickly explain that question?
This is a very nice question, actually, very nice question. I think all the devotees, not only you and me, all the devotees all over the world must understand this. Actually, not all the devotees, all the human beings must understand this concept. We don't use the word religion so much, just for preaching to the English audience. Even amongst Indians, we use that word because our mother tongue may be a little different, but in English is easy nowadays. It's very funny. That one temple, Bhakti Briksha in Canada, they're all Indians. So they said, no, Prabhu, speak in English, it will be easier for us. And I was laughing within me, just like, wow, what English really has influence. And actually, Prabhupada's most of the books are all in English. And Prabhupada's most of the lecture all are in English. So in that discussion, in Alachua, in Gainesville, there is one college called Santa Fe College. And there used to be Bhakti Yoga class I used to do every 2 weeks, every fortnight. And there was a Pakistani Muslim professor who teach about Islamism a little bit. So we had a long talk and I learned a lot of things and he understood the point of view and he said it's very difficult to grasp in a simple way, but this require, I guess, a lot of understanding. And he was very nice. Actually, he took a book to read it more and more. And then they closed down that department, so I don't know where he is now. So in my simple way to explain this, that everybody must understand 3 things. What is eternal dharma? You can call it as a religion, but we call it dharma. It's a very important point. Why? And nitya dharma, anitya dharma, and noimittic dharma. These 3 conception has to be understood by every devotee. Nitya dharma, anitya dharma, and noimittic dharma. Nitya dharma, what the soul, conscious being, function, eternal function. We have eternal nature, we have eternal position, we have eternal function. These 3 things are permanent. Eternal nature, eternal function, eternal position. Eternal function is called Nitya Dharma. On that level, which is Sanatan Dharma, which is also Vaishnava Dharma. So Krishna consciousness, Nitya Dharma, is not something you can change. It is not something you have to adapt. It is eternally within you. You are made of that. Just like that example you mentioned, the liquidity is in the water. Burning quality of the fire is inseparable. You cannot separate the burning quality from the fire. And if you do, I saw one time in my life that the fire has no heat and it was not burning. That was in Orlando, Disney World or Disneyland. So actually it was not fire at all. It was a heavy pressure wind blown with a red silk thread, so quick and such a big way, it looks like a blazing fire. And they would bring the children to touch it and nothing happens because there is no fire. It's just air and the silk. But when we talk about fire, fire has a burning quality built in. It is the nature of the fire. It is not possible to separate heat, light, and burning quality from the fire. It's not possible. Similarly, soul in their original constitutional position, the function is serve God. Whether as a father or as a son, that is different relationship. But serving God is there. It cannot be changed. It will never change. Eternal nature, love. It will never change. Whether they're Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, whatever, everybody has a loving propensity. It cannot be changed. Position, function, and nature will never change. These three together is Nitya Dharma. Now, what we're talking about, Christian, Buddhist, this, that, these are faith. It is not even Shraddha. It is a faith that what we adopt circumstantially for particular purpose. That's why you see some Jewish change to something else, some Christian become Muslim or Muslim become Christian, whatever. These are faith. These are not Nitya Dharma. What is Noimittic Dharma? Noimittic Dharma is circumstantial. Circumstantial. Just like I'm tired of life and I want relief from this material world. So with that intention, they can become even Krishna consciousness, and if he is not associating with advanced devotee, that is not also eternal. So be very careful. If you don't develop desire for two things, serving to God, Krishna, and love him. If you don't have these two together under guidance, then you cannot claim as a devotee. Means Noimittic Dharma is still prominent. Noimittic Dharma means you came for some motivation. You're tired of life. You're tired of this, that. You can say, what's wrong? Nothing wrong, but you have to become a devotee by the association of advanced devotee. And if you don't, then you still remain Noimittic Dharma, circumstantial. Means you are still not connecting yourself as a soul with Krishna. And Anitya Dharma, just to let you know, Anitya Dharma you can read 7th canto, I believe 5th chapter, not 7th canto, 5th chapter. 7th canto, Prabhupada gives in the purport 5 types of religion who appears like a religion, but actually they are not religion. They are not Nitya Dharma at all. It's yes, 7.15.12. If you put it, you can look at it in the Bhagavatam. That Bidharma, Paradharma, like this, and there's a 5 types. And I won't say the name of those people. They're big religion. They fall into this category, but they are not anything to do with religion at all. First of all, there is a 5 types Prabhupada write: Bidharma, Chaladharma, Upadharma, Dharma Abhas, and Paradharma. For an example, in India, when the widows, I mean, there are many Bengali ladies lost their husband in the freedom fighter. At that time, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, he came up with this idea that a widow can marry. Now you may say, what is got to do with the serving God? Well, because those Bengali foolish, they thought Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, what his idea about widow can marry and live peacefully is the highest principle of religion. Just because he said widow can marry and live happily with a new husband. Instead of, because the culture was before, when the husband is dead, widow has to live in a ashram or live unmarried for the rest of the life. So Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar changed it. Now this has nothing to do with really serving God and loving God. So like this you can go on. Even anyway, I don't want to say the particular name of something, but you can see there are all this religion, how much, of course, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, how much actually they have love for Lord and act on it, that much Nitya Dharma is present in them. So you have to ask him in a way that he understands that is this religion denies the existence of God, the supreme controller, possessor, or not interested to discuss about the supreme? Do they don't want to accept that the soul is eternal? As I said, I don't want to mention the name, but I can tell you one name. I feel like I should. I went to Gainesville, one group, for a few days, and they had a beautiful discussion. It's called Lotus Sangh. It's Nome Arange, mostly sect of Buddhism. There is nothing about eternity of God or you, nothing. It is all about what you do. You can harmonize with the nature and everything is nice. What happened when you die? I asked that question. Said, well, you reincarnate. Oh, then what happened? You keep on going until it dissolves all the problem. Okay, then what happened? Then don't worry, then finish. Finish what? Do I still exist or not? No, that's not important. That's called nirvana. It's gone. It's done. You're done. Done of what? Dissolve all the problem, but then what? Where am I? It's not important. I said, this is atheistic. He says, well, this is not really atheistic. I say, yes, you don't agree that there is an eternal I, the soul, that I have a relationship with God and God is eternal. You denying it. He said, no, those are not important right now. Important is how to dissolve the mental problem. I said, the mental problem will never be dissolved because you are eternal. Unless you go to the source. So this kind of misguiding, and they're big, they're not little. Buddhism is one of the biggest religion in the world. We know that that's Krishna's incarnation, but he has a purpose for a particular reason, to revive the Vedas. It was not a purpose to hooked on to that idea. So like this, I don't want to attack this, but majority religion, I spent time more with Mormons, as I mentioned before, 8 hours, 4 days. I went for Jehovah's Witness just for my own sake, just to see where Krishna consciousness stands. And you can see, it's not like a falsely I'm claiming or anything. It is like nothing can come even close what to talk about comparison. This Krishna consciousness is so beautiful, so complete. But you have to hit the point at the root level. You have to say, okay, you believe in God. You can ask Prabhu, you believe in God? Yes. God is eternal? Yes. You believe in soul that it's also eternal? Yes. What are you endeavoring right now? Why you do namaz 5 times towards Mecca? Why? What is the purpose? Purpose is to invoke his mercy. For what? You need the mercy for what? So you will be with him. Do what? That is not explained there. That is true, because I read Quran. So you don't know what is, it is for you. You want to have a comfortable life. You don't want to go to hell, you want to go to heaven. But what about serving God, loving God? What is wrong with the rich people living here? It's the same thing. You want to go to heaven, so you don't have to go to hell. It's the same thing if you have a living here, not poor life, rich life. What's the difference? It's just a further extended. But that is not the soul. Soul is eternally a lover. Krishna is beloved. There is a love. There is a unending, dynamic relationship. So what am I talking about? They believe in God, eternal, you are eternal. This is called Naimittik Dharma. This is not Nitya Dharma. This is not eternal religion or eternal. Prabhupada, one place he said actually religion means faith. Like Christian faith, Muslim faith, just like this. When I collected all this, then it makes sense. Everything he said is perfect. And they endeavor. But endeavor for who? For themselves. This is not loving God. I'm nice to one person. Why? So I get benefit. I'm nice to my boss. So why? I get a good salary, I get promotion. This is not loving and serving him. So from that angle, we have to look at it. So I hope everybody got it. 3 things, if you can remember, 3 things you have to have. God is eternal. You are eternal. Your relationship is eternal. You want to serve him. You want to develop love. When you have this, this is called Nitya Dharma in a short. And I can give you the verses. So many verses. Krishna himself declared this verse in Padma Puran when Yudhishthira Maharaj did not want to lie to Dronacharya. He quoted this verse, Mat nimittam kritam papam api dharmaya kalpate, mam anadrita dharma api papa shet mat prapavato. He said, if you don't have love for me, you don't want to serve me, you think what is right, what is wrong, you are not doing dharma anything. Your dharma is to love me and serve me. Generally, Krishna does not say so boldly. That verse, Prabhupada quoted this, that's how I remember. That was so wonderful verse. So from that angle, we have to look at this Nitya Dharma. And Naimittik Dharma, also 4 things you can just remember. 3 main. They believe in God, eternal. They believe you also eternal. But what is your relationship? To get his mercy for yourself. Not loving him or serving him. They're close, but they're not doing Nitya Dharma. They're Naimittik. This is not eternal Dharma. And Anitya Dharma means where does not speak about God's eternity, does not talk about your eternal life, and does not talk about relationship with God and the nature and you. And there is a 2 big religion in India, I won't say the name, they are also fall into that category. In the name of religion, they are not religion at all. But it's okay, we say religion in that sense, means it is temporary religion. So I hope, Prabhu, you are okay with that. Maybe you can give him some prasadam, that will be the best.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. I think it's almost 11 o'clock, so we can pause.
Krishna, sorry.
So we can
so
pause
we'll
here.
end here.
Yes, so I request all the devotees to please turn on your microphones and cameras if possible. to express our deep gratitude to His Grace Prana Govinda Prabhu for such wonderful Krishna Katha and wonderful question-answer session for all of us. So we'll express gratitude by loudly chanting 3 times.
Hari
Bol,
Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bol,
Hari Bol.
My humble obeisances. Panchakalpatarurasya kripa sindhubheva cha. Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Nandakari Vaishnavinda ki jai. Śrīla Prabhupada ki jai.
Grace Prana Govinda Prabhu ki jai.
Shubhavilas
Thank
Prabhuji ki jai.
Thank you so much to all the Vaishnavas for joining as well. Thank you so much. Hari Bol.